Hey, what's going on, everybody? You can find Foyer. This is like attempt number 2 or 3 of this. First time I didn't like it. Second time, UPS guys had to show up right on time, and there's 4 dogs living in my house, like where I live. So yeah, you kind of guess where that's going. Just like tons of barking, and it's like, fuck it, restart. Like this is sometimes just more of a cat person because dogs can be annoying sometimes. They can really be annoying. But anyway, this is my Volcanic deck for the September 2013 TCG list. Now, I will be starting OCG decks probably within the next couple of weeks. I wanted to get some TCG decks up first, and then I'll start going into a rotation of TCG and OCG decks for the format. So there will be an OCG version of this deck, as well as my Go-Go Zombies, my Battling Boxers, any other future deck profiles that I have. So there will be TCG and OCG decks being uploaded to the channel, as well, of course, duels in the OCG and some duels in TCG. You know, because I do test the TCG decks, of course. I try to I test them as much as I can, and I save the interesting duels or the duels I like. You might like this. You might like this duel. So anyway, let's get started. So first off, we have 3 shells, 2 scatter shots, 3 counters, 3 rockets, 2 monks, 2 card troopers, 2 blasters, 2 maxis, 1 royal firestorm guard, and then 3 mass chameleon. With a blaze accelerator, a tri-blaze, 3 duality, dark hole, triple MST, solemn warning, double mirror force, bottomless, torrential, compulse, and then a phoenix wing wind blast. So that is the entire main deck, total of 23 monsters, 9 spells, 8 traps, as you can see on the side here. Overall, I like the deck. It's a lot of fun. So let's go over a couple of my card choices real quick. So I'm running double scatter shot, which is something you don't typically sometimes see in Volcanics nowadays, because I understand Shell's a hell of a lot more better card because you can just search it out. Scatter Shot I decided to use because of the fact that it does burn my opponent for 500 damage whenever he sinks the graveyard. So if he's milled with Card Trooper, that's 500 damage going towards it. If I special summon it with Chameleon and sync with it, that's another 500 damage to my opponent. If I send it to the graveyard with Blaster's effect, that's another 500 points of damage. You know, there's a lot of ways I can just abuse Scatter Shot, which is really awesome. And that's the reason why I like him. I think, like, I tried him at 1, I didn't like him at 1. I tried him at 3, became clunky and cloggy, but 2 was just enough. I didn't really see him at hand all too much, so that gave me more chance to mill with Card Trooper. Blaster's a fantastic card in this deck. It allows me so much setup, especially with Volcanic counter, which basically, for those who don't know, when you take battle damage while this card is in your graveyard, banish it from your graveyard. Then, if there is a fire monster other than counter in your graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the amount of battle damage you took. So, a blaster plus, so basically using Blaster's effect to ditch him and a counter automatically sets you up for a counterplay, which is relatively awesome, and that's one of the big plays I like in the deck. It really utilizes Volcanic Blast. I was about to say Volcanic Blaster. It really utilizes Blaster in a lot of cool and different ways. I'm running 1 Royal Firestorm Guards. I want to try to put 2 in here, but I don't really know what I want to take out. I've been contemplating on taking out maybe a Mass Chameleon and playing only 2 Chameleons and 2 Royal Firestorm Guards, because of Chameleon's little side effect, drawback to if I control a level 5 or higher monster, I can normal summon it. But then I was thinking, since I can just ditch a spell with Summoner Monk and some Chameleon from the deck, now opening up for level 8 Synchros. So that's kind of the reason why I'm still sticking with 2 Mass Chameleons. I might take one out and try with a second Firestorm Guard, since he's pretty much my pot of avarice. But it's something I'm thinking about in the future. For the accelerators, you only really need 1 of each. You don't really need multiple accelerators because they get clunky and cloggy, and like, the deck is not based around, you know, blaze effect, blaze effect, blaze effect, pop, 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 pop. Like, it's not all about that. Like, it's not all it is. It's just, they're there just to, in case you need to get rid of some big annoying monsters, they're there for extra destruction. And they're also good for getting free rank for Exceed with Summoner Monk. Summoner Monk plus a Blaze Accelerator is just awesome. Pretty much allows me to get a rank 4 Exceed, or with rank 4 Exceed with no cost at all. This is pretty much like you summon Summoner Monk, then you ditch one of your accelerators. And assuming you don't get Veilered, you summon your Volcanic Rocket. Rocket's effect activates, adding back the accelerator you send to the graveyard from Monk's effect, and then you can go into an rank 4 Exceed. So pretty much you can go for any rank 4 that's generic for no cost at all. And that's really, really nice. The 3 duality is pretty much self-explanatory. The deck doesn't special a whole lot, so it does require some setup. And duality would just help, it kind of gives me the speed I do need in the deck. Allows me to get my setup going. And the rest of the spells I feel like are self-explanatory. The traps, again, it's self-explanatory. Traps, Phoenix Wing Wind Blast is a personal choice of mine over cards like Raigeki Break. It allows me to set up my my cards a little bit more effectively. Allow me to send counters for its effect, scatter shots for its effect, shells, so I can just pay 500 and add cards to my hand. As well as setting up stuff for Royal Firestorm guards, and maybe any Volcanic Rocket plays. It's a relatively good card, and I like it a lot in the deck. But of course, you could just take it out for a Raigeki Break if you prefer that card. It's just this card hits more cards than Raigeki Break. And another good use for it is against Drago Sack. Send that shit back to the extra deck. Bye. You don't like your kind here. So for the extra deck, we have a Armadius, Keeper of Boundaries, Catastor, Gaia, Vulcan, Scrapdragon, Stardust, Daigusta Emerald, Cowboy, King of Fair Limps, Gemlight Pearl, number 39, Maystroke, Poppy, Black Ship, and then a Abyss Dweller. So, I'm running the singles, of course, because of the Chameleon, Shell, and Scattershot both have 0 defense, so I can summon them via Chameleon's effect. Armadius is all around good card. Vulcan, if you don't have it, there's plenty of level 6 synchros you can go into. You have Orient Dragon, you have HTS Behemoth. Let me give you some examples real quick. For those of you who may want to replace Vulcan or something else. Like this deck's meant for online play, but there's some other stuff that you can go into. Of course, there's not a whole lot because Brianna and Goya are of course banned, but you can go for another Gaia if you so wish. I'm just joking with that. Let's see. Here we go. We have HTS Behemoth. Pretty good card. It's a pretty good card. You have Rayquazas if you so wish to. Just some examples for anybody who's wondering. Generic level 6 synchros. You can go into you can go into Lava the Greater. Don't get an effect, but it's an option. It's an option there for you, as well as Lava Ball Dragon. Again, more options for you. Let's see. I think that's pretty much all. Oh, Iron Chain. There you go. I got some Iron Chain dragons going in there. You got Mighty Warrior. And again, these are just examples for people. There's other level 6 synchros you can go into. Those are just some other examples. As for the level 5 synchros, I know Armadius jumped in price. Online, she's going from 130 actually. That's what I've seen, but just like the level 6 synchros, there are other level 5 synchros you can actually use instead of Armadius. I'll recommend using her, but there are other choices like you have Hyper Librarian, going for pretty cheap, Magical Android, Cowboy Warrior. I don't know. I'm not trying to make fun of y'all, but like that's an option. You have Lava Dual Slasher, Lava Ball Dragon. You have a lot of different things, such as like what's his name? I can't remember. What does this guy do again? You have Sea Dragon Lord Gisladon. I forgot the card even existed. What's it do again? When I face a level 3 or lower monster on the field in the graveyard of this card. Yeah, you have this guy. Chameleon plus Volcanic Shell equals Sea Dragon Lord Gisladon. So there you go. You got another option there for you guys. So there's plenty of level 5 secret options as well as rank 4 options. There's plenty. I know MRL is kind of pricey right now, as well as Black Ship of Corn, but there's plenty of other rank 4s you can go into. But as for the main deck is pretty cheap. The most expensive cards you'll run into really is pretty much gonna be the Max C's, but I think that it's probably gonna drop a play. Like, I'm sure you can probably pick this up pretty easily, super rare wise, because a lot of people are gonna want the secret rares. But really, like, the blasters are gonna go for pretty cheap, especially since the 10s have come out. Either today or tomorrow. I know they're definitely out in some places. The blaster title 10. And then Chameleon's here only going for like $7 to $10. So overall, the deck's pretty good. It's pretty cheap. And yeah, so give me your thoughts on this deck in the comment section below. And yeah, comment, rate, subscribe, and bye.